Okay, so Anthropic just completely redesigned Claude Desktop experience around Claude Code. And I would say this is actually pretty awesome. Now you can run parallel instances of Claude Code within the same interface, which was previously possible only inside a terminal. And it seems like Anthropic is really trying to design a super app which can do everything for you. Now, apart from this, they also released a couple of new features. One of the most interesting one is routines. So think of this as scheduled tasks that were already supported within Claude Code, but now this runs entirely on their infrastructure in the cloud, so you don't have to keep your computer running. And it also can be triggered for multiple different places, which is pretty neat. Now in this video, I'll walk you through the updates and I'll show you some use cases. Now let's first look at this redesigned app. If you remember, Anthropic had Cowork, Claude, and Claude Code in here, but they have moved it. And now you will need to click on this side menu, and in here you have the chat interface, then there is Cowork, and we have Claude Code. Now most of the redesign stuff has happened around Claude Code, so we're going to quickly look at this. They now added a section where you can drop specific chats that you have. These are going to become your pinned chats, which gives you a pretty quick access. But the most important one is parallel panels that you can open. You can do up to 4 at a time. So let's say I am working on this project, but I want to run another instance of Claude Code in parallel. So I can just click on open in split view, and this is going to open the other session as well. And now I can work in both these sessions simultaneously. You can actually start up to 4 different panels. So this is very similar to what you would do in a terminal, for example, but now you can essentially work on 4 different projects simultaneously, which is pretty neat. Now there are a little bit lag in performance of this new app. Sometimes I have seen that the API calls are pretty slow, but hopefully it's just a temporary bug that they are going to figure out. Okay, there are some other neat features that they have included as well. So one is, if you go here, you can see a preview of the web browser they have now. So this is the web app that I've been working on, and you can directly see the preview of that web app right in here in Claude Desktop. You don't have to go to another browser, which makes it, I think, pretty seamless for the developer to be working within the same interface. Now, apart from this, they also have a dedicated terminal. So every session or pan is going to have its own terminal. So if I am running 2 different instances, each one of them are going to have their own terminal. Now, other things are tasks that you can see. So if we click on the tasks, these are going to keep updating in real time. It's very similar experience to before. And you can also look at the plans that Claude Code has created for your specific project. Now, personally, don't really like the way they have set up these icons. The previous view, in my opinion, was better. But with this new update, you can directly process or create PRs and then accept or reject them. So let's say if you look at this right now, I want this text to be white in color before you even hover on it. So we're going to just copy this. I want the index all documents button to have the text in white color so that it's consistent with the rest of the app even before somebody hovers on it. All right, so we're going to work on this, and in parallel, we can actually start on another task. So right now you can actually switch between tasks and they keep executing. So let's say if I open this project. Now, as I mentioned, I have seen that it is pretty slow at the moment. So I'm not sure if it's the backend or the app itself. Use the front-end design skill to redesign the UI based on the template of linear website. So right now I have 2 different tasks running. And these are two different projects that I'm working on simultaneously. Now, you could argue that you can do all of this within a terminal, but I feel like Anthropic is trying their best to kill IDEs and terminals as well, and just create this super app that can do everything for you. Especially when we look at the routine feature that they introduced, that will make sense. Okay, so there are some UI bugs here and there. So for example, I cannot drag this middle line, which is kind of frustrating. So it seems to have fixed the issue. The other task is still going to run in the background, but seems like this has worked, which is pretty nice. And now you can look at the diffs as well. So you don't even have to go to an IDE. You can actually see what are the changes that were made in here, which is pretty neat. So there seems to be a bug here. Previously, it would actually allow me to create a PR directly from here, but I merged one of the PRs, so it seems like it's not allowing you to create another PR even if you create another branch, which is kind of interesting. So this was the previous PR that I created, or Claude Code created for me, which is pretty neat. Now you can also just create a new fork, right? So basically, it's a single unified interface where you can do a lot of things. You don't have to go to an IDE anymore. Next, we're going to look at routines, which are essentially scheduled tasks that are running on the web and not on your local machine. So today, if you go to Claude Code and click on scheduled tasks, you can actually see that you can run new tasks that are going to run at a specific interval that you define. All you need is the name, description, what is going to be the actual prompt or the task that you want the agent to perform. You select a folder and then you define the frequency. Now they have introduced something called remote tasks, which is basically this scheduled task now called routines that is going to run on Anthropic's infrastructure. And the idea is that these are the things that you want to run routinely, but you don't want to keep your computer on. They are going to run irrespective whether your computer is on or off. So in this case, you need to provide name, description of what exactly the task is going to do. That's basically the prompt. Select repo, then set the schedule, whether you want to run this hourly, daily, and that is going to become your trigger. If you go to custom, this essentially is a cron job that Anthropic is going to be running on your behalf. But the good thing is that you can use all the connectors or plugins that you have installed. That means you can, let's say, connect it to your email. It will give you a daily report of all the emails that you are receiving, or in my case, if I am interested in content creation, want to explore video ideas, so I'll probably connect it to some sort of a news feed that it aggregates and tells me what are the different things people are talking about. But there is one more thing, and this is API-based triggers. Since this process runs in the cloud, so you can actually trigger the routines using a simple API trigger. This might be an API endpoint that is running on another system or as a part of the application, and if it needs something, it can trigger this routine task for you. Okay, so here is the web interface on Claude Code. They actually have a few templates that you can use. So this one is email triage, which basically categorize and prioritize your inbox with draft responses for urgent items, right? So in this is the name. Here's the brief description of what exactly you want Claude to do, which model you want to use. If you want, you can connect it to a specific repo. Probably in this case, you might want to connect it to your Gmail, let's say. In this case, you might want to connect it to your email service, right? And then this is going to be an operation very similar to scheduled task that is going to run at predefined cadence for you. So all this is great, but let's look at some bad news. So Anthropic changes pricing to bill firms based on AI use amid compute crunch. Seems like they have changed it to token-based pricing rather than subscription pricing. Now, this specifically seems to be for enterprises at the moment. However, I think these changes are coming for everybody. So, for example, OpenAI recently changed the way the Plus subscribers can use their subscription in Codex, which essentially made it unusable. You could actually do a lot with Plus subscription on Codex, but now it's basically useless, to be honest. And it has really become just a demo or a paid demo of the Codex product. Now, the trick that they use is that they're saying that, oh, the weekly limits are exactly the same, but they changed the 5-hour limits. So you can probably run 2 or 3 prompts and then you have to wait 5 hours again, which is kind of crazy. But I feel like these changes to the subscription plans are going to come to every tier, including the max plans and Anthropic. Let's hope I'm wrong. So this was all that was announced today. I think we're in really interesting times. Anthropic is working towards creating this super app that is kind of the holy grail for every company at the moment. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Have a go at it. Tell me whether you like it or not. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.